All right, everyone, there's a couple brand new gaming news stories we need to talk about today, starting with Sonic Frontiers getting a brand new round of leaks that may have not only revealed the release date for this title, but also future plans for it. Then the big talking point for today's video has to do with Nintendo Switch Online, the brand new app update that just hit the N64 emulator, and a breakdown of everything that was changed because it's not all explained on the surface, and we have to go over all the details right now. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. And as I mentioned, guys, we are breaking down a couple different stories today, and we have to kick it off with yet another conversation around Sonic Frontiers, as I am definitely keeping tabs on this game. I am hopeful that it is the true 3D future of Sonic game experience that many of us have been longing for if you've kept up with the series over the years, and most recently, I've super enjoyed playing through Sonic Origins, and even though I have some gripes with how Sega went about releasing that game in terms of the digital only packaging and having multiple pricing tiers, I still thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish. Some people had some bug issues, complaints online. That has since been patched and addressed, and I honestly just have so much nostalgia for the original Sonic the Hedgehog all the way through Sonic and Knuckles, and then even Sonic CD as well, that playing through those games again was just a fantastic experience and really got me wanting more from the modern era of Sonic games. And while you can definitely argue that Sega has made missteps with the marketing around Sonic Frontiers so far, we still don't really know what the actual game is going to play and entail when we are traversing through these giant open zones ourselves, as well as how many different style of open zones there are. But we do have some more new information that just got leaked out online from multiple different sources, one of which is a Japanese trailer that is floating around on Twitter right now. I won't have the footage of that one on screen because I'm sure Sega would like to happily hand out copyright claims and strikes and things for leaked trailers, but it is easy to find, and I will have a link to a Reddit post where it is being discussed online, as well as the link to this VGC article that we're about to read through that does break down exactly what's been spotted around potential for not only the release date for this game, but also DLC plans. As you can see the following posted up over on VGC, where it says Sonic Frontiers release date and DLC listed by promo material. Sega's game could arrive in mid-November. As spotted by a Reddit user, a seller from a Taiwanese e-commerce website has seemingly acquired promotional material for Sonic Frontiers ahead of its publication date. The alleged promotional material, which is viewable below, lists Sonic Frontiers release date as November 15th, along with a claim that DLC is already being planned for the game. In addition to this information, new art shows returning characters from the series, including Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. They will seemingly join Sonic in the upcoming game, along with new creatures that can be seen throughout the promotional material. Nothing is shared about the DLC besides it being in development. However, this isn't the first time a specific November date has been attributed to the new Sonic title. Back in December 2021, the PlayStation Network backend also listed November 15th, 2022 release date, which was initially spotted by PlayStation Game Size. Gamescom Opening Night Live host Jeff Keighley said earlier this month that a world premiere, new look, and news about Sonic Frontiers will be shown during the live show on August 23rd. So I think between the previous PlayStation Store leak that we saw hit, plus now this promotional poster, both referencing November 15th as the release date for this title, it is a pretty safe bet to expect it to launch then, which is somewhat close to the God of War Ragnarok launch date of November 9th. So I'm going to have to grind through that right away to get into Sonic Frontiers when it ultimately releases, but I am hyped for November for game releases. It definitely seems like it will be a stacked month, and while I'm not the biggest fan of them going out of the way to promote DLC before the game is even out, at least we know there will most likely be more content to come. And the big thing you guys will know if you've been around on the channel for a while with me and future content and games is I don't mind it, and I will pay extra for it to get it if the game already feels content complete and a standalone full experience through and through, and not like a light version of Sonic Frontiers. And then if you really want to get all the content we have to offer, buy our $60 game, and then in 2 months we'll have a $25 DLC pack. It's like, okay, you clearly held that extra content back and didn't put it in the final product to essentially create a cash grab scenario for the hardcore fans of the game that will end up buying that DLC. Now, what will it entail will be interesting. I am very happy to see the confirmation of Knuckles, Tails, and Amy. I think Sonic has a very unique universe of characters, and to incorporate them and hopefully give them good personality in this game will be a step in the right direction for the future of 3D Sonic games, which this installment is claiming to be, as team head Takahashi Iizuka has stated multiple times that he expects this to to be the template for Sonic games in the 3D environment for the next 10 years plus going forward. So this really will be a big telltale moment for what we can expect for the future of Sonic games. And while we've been let down in the past with multiple 3D installments, and there's some quality ones in there, to be fair, this one, I think all eyes from Sonic fans will be on how Frontiers performs in both review scores, as well as what fans just say online about the combat system, the story elements, how vast and different the zones are, how fun and enjoyable are those fun little mini level zones that we saw highlighted at the Nintendo Direct trailer, and is it actually a clear-cut, concise, fun Sonic experience through and through, or did they just try to take the blue hedgehog and throw him into vast open landscapes with almost nothing to do and no real narrative to drive you forward to want to unlock more abilities and go forward into the story? Like, we will have to wait and see ultimately what Sega crafted here with Sonic Frontiers, but I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below how you're feeling about the game at this point in time. Are you excited for Gamescom to get more information officially revealed for the game, or are you somebody that with some of those marketing decisions around IGN first and the whole what we've seen of the game so far maybe doesn't have you hyped for this game and you're just going to sit on the sidelines unless if it surprises you? So please share all your thoughts and feelings on all things Sonic Frontiers and this latest round of leaks in the comments down below. Now, the other story we're talking about today has to do with the brand new N64 game that we saw go live late last night, known as Wave Race 64 on Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. And one interesting thing that Nintendo has continued to do with certain titles that hit the service is actually do a base application update to the N64 emulator app itself. And we did get a new number update this time around, which is 2.6.0, which is interesting because Nintendo has actually refined some extra things behind the scenes that data miners can go in and look at. And I like to point this out just for the simple fact that once upon a time when Nintendo Switch Online and expansion pack first hit the service, the emulator was absolutely a wreck and multiple things were not working correctly. Input delay was bad, fog wasn't rendering in numerous games, and there were many game-breaking bugs and glitches that were spotted shortly after the service was out. And in Nintendo fashion, because they don't always go out of their way to say what their plans are for the future of the service, we didn't know as fans on whether or not they would acknowledge and fix any of these problems, or if this is just how the N64 games are going to run on the Switch, because clearly when you emulate things and it's not on native hardware, there is a whole new host of random bugs that can pop up. And to Nintendo's credit, we have seen continued app updates to this N64 emulator at its core, fixing various different issues that have been noticed over the course of time since the service has been available. And to highlight exactly what's been changed and tinkered with in the background, let's hop over to Oatmeal Dome's Twitter, well-known data miner, where he has the following to say. NSO N64 version 2.6.0 is out. Wave Race 64 was added. The NTSC, German, and PAL French versions of Pokemon Puzzle League had their renderer settings adjusted, setting related to the color frame buffer removed, sorting adjusted to put PAL versions after NTSC. Meanwhile, in Japan, there were some additional changes. Notably, it looks like the Fanta advertisements were removed in Wave Race 64. Now, it is also noted by other data miner Mondo Mega that while certain games were touched up in this, others were not, as he has once again nothing new fixed from this thread, maybe next time, and he is referencing the magma effects on Solar and Star Fox 64 do not look correct, as well as some graphical glitches with Yoshi's story in a separate tweet, also pointing out that Star Fox 64 and Majora's Mask errors are relatively minor and aren't really noticeable unless you know what to look for, and also lastly calling out some F-Zero X frame rate issues that are still ongoing. So ultimately, while Nintendo continues to push out updates to the emulation on the N64 app, it is still not perfect, and one feature that I really want to see them implement more than some of these graphical glitches, and really that is like for the ultimate fine-tuned eye. If you just know what the original N64 experience was like, you may be taken out of it a little bit if you notice things don't look quite the same. Most of these games, in my opinion, play in a very good state. Personally, like, I am not taken out of the experience and I enjoy them. However, there is an ongoing issue that Nintendo really needs to address sooner rather than later, and that is the button controller layout for N64 games. You have to do one or the other. Either give us the option to remap them on the Pro Controller for certain games that utilize C buttons in an interesting way to just be easier to reach, or make the layout make more sense than it does when it's just mapped over to a Pro Controller. And maybe because of how different the game's catalog is on the N64 and how it uses the controls, maybe give us game specific saves for how we want to map our controllers. Now, you could take a lot of that complaint away if you also just had the N64 controllers for Nintendo Switch Online readily available for purchase, which we are now looking at almost a full year of the expansion pack being sold and that N64 controller being originally launched, and it still is never consistently in stock. Do restocks happen? Yes, they do. They are few and far between, and when they do happen, they sell out entirely immediately. Like, you have to be in front of your computer or on your smartphone at the precise moment that they go live and have to probably follow stock track accounts just to be able to find this thing. And I think at this point in time, a year plus in, it's clear that Nintendo just did not prioritize their distribution of that controller in all regions around the world, and scalpers are still having a field day with it on eBay and resale sites. So that's one thing that I would really like to see them address in the near future. Give us button remapping for people who can't get the N64 controllers right now, and or just ramp up your production of that controller dramatically so the needs of the consumers are fulfilled. So all in all, I'm definitely far more positive on the N64 game support as well as the emulator and how it runs now compared to the original state we saw it launched in. And fortunately, to Nintendo's credit, we are still on that path of one brand new N64 game per month that we are able to essentially safely expect at this point, because they've been sticking to that since they started adding in games to the expansion pack. So I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video on both the different stories we talked about today. How are you feeling about Sonic Frontiers, and are you hyped for future news, release date, and more trailers around this title? And definitely share with me where you think the current state of the N64 emulator sits today on Nintendo Switch Online. Do you think it's playing the games in full quality and you personally are enjoying all of the new releases, or do you think Nintendo is still looking the other way on too many issues? And bonus question, what's your thought on the controller situation as well as the lack of button remapping in the emulator itself? I know you can do it on the system level. That gets very confusing if you need to still navigate outside of it. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, where we discuss the DLC side of Nintendo Switch Online and discuss why some online are thinking that we may be around the corner from future DLC packs being added into the service. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.